Hello everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make it. This is actually a rug, smaller rug that I made for my bathroom. It's approximately 32 inches across and it's actually quite easy to make. I really like it, and now I feel like I'm addicted to making rugs. I'm going to have another one that is coming out too. So you can see, like I said, it's really easy. It's just mainly double crochets and single crochets. That's actually all it is. So if you can do that, you'll be able to make this rug. And then I has this pretty border around it. I'm gonna set this though to the side. I'm gonna show you one thing. Now the cake that I used was like a gradient style cake, and I noticed here there's a break in color. You see that? And there. It didn't flow like I thought it was going to flow. So after this point, I did start to color control the whole entire thing. So it was color controlled after this break is here. This break's driving me nuts. But hey, it's all right. I'll make another and it'll be better. All right, so let's talk about the yarn that was used, and then we can go ahead and get started on the project. So the yarn that I use for this particular rug is a Stinley cake. It is their it's macrame, and it's their Kilum macrame. They have a couple different varieties of macrame, but this is the one that I used. It's a cotton polyester blend. There's 875 meters, so about 950 yards. I did not use the whole cake. And I even color controlled it. So one cake was enough. I buy this in from Pleta Yarns in Bulgaria. I will put a link to that below in the description box. I actually bought 2 cakes. So it looks like this. And here is the yarn. It's I showed this on Facebook and people were asking if it hurt my hands. Okay, so it hurt my hands at first, just for a bit. And then I messed up about halfway through, and I had to take on row 3, and I had to take it all out. But after that, it quit hurt my hands after a while, and I was very easy to work with. So it's like a thicker 4-weight yarn. Like I said, it's not hard to work with. It might hurt your hands for just a bit, but after that, it's very easy. But you don't have to use this yarn. You can use any yarn you want. You can use macrame yarn for rugs. They make good rugs. Even cotton yarn, just a 4-weight cotton would make a good rug. I have, if you guys have ever heard of that Bernat Maker polyester yarn, I have some of that, which I'm going to be making a rug out of. That makes very nice, soft, squishy rugs. You can even make rugs out of acrylic. It just really depends on how much use they're going to get. And where you're going to be putting them. Of course, if they're going to be getting a lot of use, I would not recommend acrylic, but if it's just for decoration, of course you can. You can actually look on the internet the best types of yarns to use for rugs, and that'll give you a good idea. But I think macrame works good, and then like that tube cotton or tube polyester type stuff, which is, I'm sorry, the Bernat Maker is like the tube style polyester. And then, or like a tube style cotton. I know Lion Brand has some like called Lazy Days. They have that in a 6-weight and a 4-weight. So, any type of yarn can be used. You don't have to go buy this Stinley cake or anything. But yeah, that is what I used. And I would say in total, it probably took, let's see, I didn't use the whole cake, probably about 800 yards, 750 to 800 yards to make it that size, of course. And then the hook that I used, we're going to be using a size H, which is a 5mm crochet hook. So do you guys want to go ahead and get started? It's super fun, and I'm going to make a bigger one that's more intricate next time. I'm really excited. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's do it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start out with the slip knot on our hook. You can use the magic circle here, or the magic ring, if you'd like. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and start with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to slip stitch into my first stitch to form a ring. so we can work into the center of that ring. Just like that. So now we have a ring to work into. We're going to chain one. Sorry. Okay, we're going to chain one. Now that chain one does not count as a stitch. It doesn't count as anything. We're going to yarn over like we're going to do a double crochet. We're going to insert our hook through the ring, and we're going to grab our working yarn and pull it back through. And then we'll go ahead and do our double crochet like normal. Well, I'm just fiddly hands today, aren't I? There's our first double crochet. Again, we're going to yarn over and go through the ring, grab our working yarn, pull it back up, and double crochet like normal. And there's 2 doubles. And we need to keep doing that until we get a total of 12 double crochets through the center of that ring. So I'm going to go ahead and continue, and I'll meet back up with you when I get my 12 finished out. Alright, so I come to the end of round 1, and I have my 12 double crochets. You can usually pull your tail to close up that center circle pretty well. Now we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our very first double crochet. I like to count backwards, make sure I get the right one. Alright, slip stitch into that, and that ends round 1, and we'll go ahead and begin round 2. Alright, we're going to start round 2 again with a chain 1 that does not count as a stitch. Now, but we are going to work right back into that same stitch there that we just slip stitched into, and we're going to work 2 double crochets into it. So right there we slip stitched. Let's go ahead and work 2 doubles into that same stitch. There's 1 and 2. So round 2 is actually going to be putting 2 doubles into every single stitch from the previous row. So we're going to jump to the next stitch, and we're going to work 2 doubles into that same stitch. There's 1 and 2. There again, we're going to jump on over to the next one, and we're going to work 2 doubles. 1 and 2. So I'm going to continue repeating this, working 2 double crochets in each of the 12 double crochets from the previous row. And when you get back around here to the end of row 2, you should have a total of 24 stitches this time around. So I will see you at the end. Alright, I've come to the end of round 2, and I have my 24 stitches. I'm going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into my first double crochet. And we will go ahead and start round 3. Alright, so again we're going to chain 1 that does not count as a stitch. We're going to go back in that same stitch right here that we just slip stitched into, and we're just going to work 1 double crochet into that stitch this time. Goodness gracious. Okay, 1 double into that very first stitch, and then in the next stitch we're going to put 2 doubles into that same stitch. So there's 1 and there's 2. So we put 1 double in the first stitch, 2 doubles into the next stitch, and that's going to be the repeat for round 3. So the next stitch we're just going to put 1 double crochet into it, and then the next stitch we will put 2 doubles into the same stitch. So there's 1 and 2. Repeat it again. The next stitch is just going to get 1 double crochet, and then the next stitch we'll put 2 doubles into that same stitch. So we're going to go ahead and repeat this pattern of 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, all the way around for round 3. And when you make it back to the end of round 3, you should have a total of 36 stitches. Alright, so I've made it to the end of round 3, and your last stitch should have had 2 double crochets in it, 36 stitches, and we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet to end that round, and we'll go ahead and start round 4. Again, we're going to start off with the chain 1 that does not count as a stitch. So round 4, the repeat will be, we're going to do 1 double crochet into the first 2 stitches. All right, so we're going to go back into that very first stitch and double crochet. And then we're going to go to the next stitch and just put 1 double crochet. And the next stitch we will put 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So that will be the repeat. There's 1, 2 for round 4. We're going to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 double. And that one, the next one, 1 double, and then we'll put 2 double crochets into the next stitch. 1 and 2. And we're going to repeat that again. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 double into the next, 1 double into the next, and then the next one gets 2 doubles into the same stitch. So I'm going to continue this pattern for round 4. 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles. 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles. All the way around, and when you make it to the end of round 4, you should have a total of 48 stitches. Alright, I've come to the end of round 4. Your last stitch should have had 2 double crochets in it, 48 stitches. It's okay if it isn't laying flat. Hopefully it does later, huh? No, it will. We're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet, and that ends round 4. Alright, now we're going to start round 5. We're going to chain 1, and it does not count as a stitch. So for round 5, we are just going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch around. So there won't be any stitches that we put 2 double crochets in. So starting with this very first stitch that we just slip stitched into, go ahead and double crochet. And then round 5 is just working 1 double crochet in every stitch around until you make it back to your starting point. And when you make it back, you should still have 48 stitches this time around, since we didn't increase any stitches. We're just working 1 in each stitch. So I'm going to continue this 1 double in every stitch, and I'll see you when I make it back around to the end of round 5. Alright, so I've made it to the end of round 5, and don't, like I said, don't worry about it if it's looking silly. We'll get it fixed up. Now we got our 48 stitches, so we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet. Alright, now we're going to start something different here. So for round 6, we're going to be working double V stitches. We're going to work 1 in our very first stitch. So we're going to start off with the chain 1. Doesn't count as a stitch. So the double V stitch for this particular thing that we're making here is worked by putting, we're going to go back in the very first stitch, 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So there is 1 and 2, and then we are going to chain 1, but loosely chain 1. And then we're going to go back into the same stitch again and work 2 more double crochets. So for this design, the double V is 2 double crochets, a loose chain 1, and 2 more double crochets, all in the same stitch. Now we're going to start the repeat of row 2. So we're just going to skip 2 stitches, skip, and we're going to do this double V into the next. So skip, and then the next one, we go into it and we work our double V again, which is 2 doubles, 1, 2, nice loose chain 1, go back into the same spot and work 2 more double crochets. And that's going to be the repeat all the way around. Double V stitches. Again, we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. Skip. We don't chain 1 in between the double V stitches or anything, all right? So, skip 2, skip, next one, go on into it, and double V. So 1 double, 2 double. Sorry, this stuff's real tight in the cake at first. All right. Okay, and then a nice looser chain 1, back into the same stitch, and we work 2 more doubles. So this is going to be the repeat for round 5. We're just going to be working double V stitches. So let's skip 2, skip, next one, and we are in a double V stitch into it. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this all the way around, skipping 2 and then double V into the next. And I will see you when we have 2 stitches that remain at the end. That's where I'll meet back up with you. All right, so I come to the end of round 6 and I have 2 stitches that remain. Just going to go ahead and skip them 2, and I'm going to end by slip stitching into the first double crochet of my first double V stitch. And you should have 16 now of these double V stitches. All right. Okay, I'll start round 7. So we're going to do another double V-stitch round. What we're going to do to start round 7 is we are going to slip stitch into the next double crochet. And then we're going to slip stitch into the chain 1 space. And that's where we're going to work our V-stitches in the chain 1 spaces of the previous V-stitches. So now we're just going to chain 1 to start. And we're going to work a double V-stitch in the chain 1 space of this double V-stitch. So we're going to go right back into this space. And we're going to work 2 doubles. There's 1, 2, a nice loose chain 1. Go back into the same one. And 2 more doubles. There's 1. And there's 2. All right, now what we're going to do is we are just going to work the double V-stitch into each one of these chain spaces from the double V-stitches from the previous row. So we don't chain 1 in between them or anything, so we're just going to jump, yarn over, jump right over here to the chain 1 space here and do our double V, which is 2 doubles, a loose chain 1, and 2 more doubles. And this is what we're going to do. See that stitch there? We don't go into that stitch. We go in, make sure you go into that space. We're just going to do this all the way around. So it's pretty similar to the last row, I guess. Just double V stitches. All right. Jump right over here to the next double V stitch. And into the space. Double V stitch in it. All right, I'm going to continue this all the way around, and when you make it to the end of row 7, you still should have your 16 double V stitches. All right, I'll see you in a split second. All right, I'm coming to the end of round 7, and I have my still have 16 double V stitches. And remember, do not worry if it's looking like a bowl. We're going to end by slip stitching into the first double crochet of our first double V stitch, and then we're going to start row 8. All right, so we need to get to the chain 1 space of our first double V stitch, so we're going to slip stitch into the next double crochet and slip stitch into the chain 1 space. Now for row 8, we are going to do a row of triple V stitches. I bet you probably can guess what those are. It's going to be 3 double crochets, a loose chain 1, and 3 double crochets in each one of the V stitches from the previous row. So we chain 1 there to start for this first one, and go ahead and work 3 doubles this time. 1, 2, 3. Do your loose chain 1. Now these you can slide over if you need to. Sometimes that yarn don't like to slide. Sometimes you have to slide them over there. And then 3 more double crochets, and that is the triple V stitch. 3 doubles, loose chain 1, and 3 doubles. And this is what we're gonna do in each of the chain 1 spaces. So remember, we're not chaining 1 in between. We're just gonna jump right over here to this double V stitch from the previous row, and we're gonna triple V stitch in the space. 3 doubles, there's 1, 2, 3, loose chain 1, and 3 more doubles. 1, 2, 3, triple V. All right, and this is what I'm going to repeat for round 8. So triple V stitch and chain 1 space of all the previous V stitches. You'll have 16 still when you make it back over here. So I'll meet back up with you here. All right, so I've made it to the end here, and I have my 16 triple V stitches. Let's go ahead and end a row 8 by slip stitching into our first double crochet of the first triple V stitch. We'll go ahead and start row 9. Now, we're not going to do any V stitches here at the moment, but we do need to slip stitch to the center of the first triple V stitch. So slip stitch and the next double, and next double, and then the chain space. All right, so this is what we're going to do for row 9. We are going to just start out with the chain 1. Okay, now in the chain 1 space of the V stitch, we're going to work 1 single crochet like that, and then we are going to work a chain of 2, 1, 2, and in this space right here between the first double V, the first triple V, and the next one, we're going to do a double crochet just right through this space. So we did the single, and then we chain 2. Make sure your chains aren't real tight, just, you know. And now we're just going to yarn over with that chain on our hook and go through that space, and we're going to work a double crochet just like that. And then we are going to chain 2. Remember, not real tight, but, and we're going to kind of we're just going to repeat that. So here we are at our next V stitch from the previous row. We're going to single crochet into that chain space, and then we will chain 2, and then we're going to double crochet in the space between the V stitch that you just single crocheted into and the next V stitch. So right here in between these 2 V's, we're going to, with that chain 2 on our hook, yarn over and go into that spot and just do a double crochet just like that. So we're making chain spaces so we can work some more rows of double crochet. So now we have to chain 2 again, and then we single crochet into the next chain space of the next V, chain 2, and then we do the double crochet in between the V stitches. And we're just going to keep repeating this until we make it back around. Chain 2, single crochet into the chain 1 space of the next V, chain 2, double crochet into this space between the 2 V stitches, chain 2, and repeat. All right, so that's what it kind of starts to look like. All right, I'll see you here at the end of round 9. All right, so I'm coming to the end of round 9 here, and I just single crocheted into the last V stitch that I have, because here's where we started. So what we have to do is chain 2 And then we got to get that double crochet in between the last V-stitch here in the first one that we did. So right here in this space, double crochet. And then we're going to chain 2 one last time and go ahead and slip stitch into our first single crochet. So that will end round 9, and you should have 32 of these chain spaces, or a candy bowl, whichever one you prefer. All right, let's go ahead and start round 10. All right, so we're going to start off by working a chain 1. Now we're going to go right back in to this single crochet, and we're going to work 1 double crochet into that single crochet. And then this chain 2 space right here, we're going to work 3 double crochets in the chain space, right in this space. 3 doubles. There's 1, 2, and there's 3. And then we're going to work a double on top of this double, just right into that. And then in the next chain space here, 3 doubles. So this is a double crochet row. 1, 2, 3. And now we're just going to repeat what we just did all the way around. So here we are at a single crochet again. So we're going to double crochet into that single crochet and 3 doubles into this next chain space. And then 1 double into this double crochet here. 3 doubles into the next chain space. And we repeat again. So we're just putting a double crochet into every single crochet and every double crochet, and 3 doubles into every chain 2 space from the previous row, all the way around until we get back to our starting point. And when you make it back around, we're going to have 128 double crochets. All right, you need that number, so make sure you got that number. I'll see you at the end of round 10. All right, so I've made it to the end of round 10. And I have my 128 double crochets. Remember, you do need to have that number. Now we're going to end round 10 by slip stitching into our first double crochet. Now what we're going to do is 3 rows of just double crochet. So rounds 11, 12, and 13 are all just 1 double crochet in every stitch, and you will have 128 double crochets at the end of all of them. So we won't be increasing at all on any of those particular double crochet rows. So for round 11, 12, and 13, we would just start off with the chain 1 and go back to the first stitch and double crochet, and we just work around, putting 1 double in every single stitch until you make it back, and then you would end in a slip stitch, chain 1, and start again, always having 128 double crochets. Always make sure that you count so you have that number. So I'm on round 11 now. I'm going to do round 11, and then I'm going to do round 12 the same way, and then I'm going to do round 13 the same way, and then I'll come meet back up with you, and maybe we'll do some more V-stitches. All right, remember 11, we're on 11 now. 11, 12, 13, 1 double crochet in every stitch, 128 stitches at the end of each row. All right, so I've finished out round 11, 12, and 13. So we have our, counting that first row here, 4 rows of double crochet at this point. We need to make sure we have our 128 stitches. That's very important. So I just went ahead and ended by slip stitching into that first double. Now we're going to do some double V stitches again, alright? So go ahead and start the first one. We're going to chain 1. And we're going to work our first double V right back here in the same stitch that we just slip stitched into. So remember, the double V is 2 doubles. Loosely chain 1 and 2 more doubles, all into the same stitch. So since this is the first row, we have to skip some doubles. Now we're going to skip 3 doubles this time, okay? And before down here we skipped 2, but now we're going to skip 3. So this will be the repeat. Now we're going to skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. So skip, 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 and then the next we're going to do a double V again. So 2 doubles. There's 1, 2. Loosely chain 1 and 2 more doubles. And this is what we're going to be repeating for row 14. Is what we're on now. Again, let's skip our 3. Skip, 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 and the next double V into this spot. Remember, we're not chaining any stitches between the V stitches. 2 doubles, loosely chain 1, 2 doubles, and repeat. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the next double V. All right, so I'm going to repeat this, skipping 3 and putting a double V stitch into the next all the way around for row 14. And when I'll be back up with you at the last 2 stitches, and you should have a total of 32 of these double V's when we make it back around. All right, I'll see you in just a second. All right, so I've made it here. You should have 3 stitches left. I don't remember what I said a while ago, if I said 2, but if I did, I apologize. You should have 3 stitches left when you make it to the end of round 14, and you just want to go ahead and skip them and slip stitch into your first double crochet, your first V. You should have 32 of these now. All right, so rounds 15, 16, and 17, the next 3 rounds are all going to be double V stitches in the chain 1 spaces of the previous double V stitches. So, you know, kind of like we did down here, except we're doing more rows up here. So remember, you have to slip stitch over to your chain space. Chain 1 in the first one, just to start out. All right, and then we're good to go. Double V into that chain 1 space. Just like that. And then we have to just jump over to the next chain 1 space and double V into that one. So this is what we're going to do for 3 more rows. This is we're on round 15 now, so I'm going to do round 15. Then I'm going to slip stitch and move over, and then I'm going to do the same thing for round 16 and round 17, making sure to keep 32 of these V stitches, which you will if you keep them all lined up, only working in the chain 1 spaces of them, for each row. So one more time, we're on round 15, and then we're going to 15 is what we're on. And then we're going to do 16 and 17, all the same. So this is one double V in the chain 1 space of the double V from the previous row. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish out row 15, then I'm going to do 16, and I'll finish out row 17, and then I will meet back up with you. All right. All right, so I just finished out row 17. So in total, counting that first row, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows excuse me, of double V stitches. So now we're going to do 3 rows of triple V stitches. So we got to slip stitch over to the chain 1 space here, and we're going to do them just like we did them down here, except for we only did 1 row down here. We're going to do 3 rows up here, jump from there like that, and we're also going to do one more thing different up here than we did down there. All right, so we're in the chain 1 space. We're going to chain 1 to start the first one out. So we're going to do the triple V, and we're going to work our 3 doubles into that chain 1 space. This is row 18 that we're on. There's 1, 2, 3, and then we got to do our loose chain 1 and go back in and do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So that is our first triple V stitch there. I do want to point out that your piece is probably looking like a basket again. It's alright. It's normal. Alright. There's my first triple V stitch. Now the one thing different we're going to do now that we didn't do down there, we're going to chain 1 in between the V stitches this time around. Okay, so just chain 1, and then you jump over here to the chain 1 space of the next V stitch, and we're going to do a triple V. So 3 doubles, like that, loosely chain 1 and go back in and work 3 more double crochets. Like that. So there is our second triple V stitch, and remember we are going to chain 1 in between them this time. All right, pretty easy. So we're going to do, this is row 18, and we're going to do 19 and 20 all the same way. Triple V stitches in the chain 1 spaces of the previous V stitch, making sure that we're doing a chain 1 in between each of the triple V stitches on every row, and we still should have 32 V stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up 3 rows of triple V stitches, chain 1 in between each V stitch, and I'll see you here in just a second. Alright, so I finished the 3 rows there of the triple V stitches, and then I went ahead and got to my position here to start row 21. Just, you know, you need to be, I ended with the slip stitch here, you know, like normal, slip stitch over, so we can start in row 21 in the chain spacer of our first V stitch. Okay, I'm kicking myself in the behind that I did not color control this down here. That's why my yarn's clipped here. I started color controlling it, so I don't like breaks in my color. All right, let's move on. So row 21, we are in the chain space. If you probably want to, you'll need to slip stitch over to it, of the first triple V stitch. All right, and chain 1, and then we're going to go back into that, and we're going to put 1 single crochet into that spot. Sorry about that. Chain 1, 1 single crochet. Okay, now we are going to do a chain of 2, 1, 2, and remember last time we put a double crochet right here between our V stitches. This time we're going to put 2 doubles between it. All right, so we're just going to go in the same this spot here and put 2 doubles into that spot. So there's 1, and then just go back into the same spot and put another. So that's really the only difference between this one and the other time we did it. Then we're going to chain 2 again. Remember, you don't want to do your chain real tight, just normal, because we have to work back into it later. But now here we are at our triple V-stitch, single crochet into the chain space, and repeat. We're going to repeat what we just did. Chain 2, and then the spot between these V-stitches, 2 doubles. Okay, 2 doubles this time. If you need to slide them around and make them fit, that's fine. There's 2 doubles. And then we're going to chain 2 again. Start it again. Single crochet into the chain 1 space of the next V-stitch. Chain 2. 2 double crochets in that big space between the V-stitches. And this is what we're going to do all the way around this time. 1. So it's just like we did in the prior row, way down here. The only difference is, as I mentioned, is we're putting 2 double crochets here in opposed to 1 as we did down there. Again, we're just going to repeat. We're going to chain 2 and single crochet into the chain 1 space of the next V-stitch. Chain 2. 2 doubles in the space between the 2 V's. There's 1 and 2. Chain 2. Start it again. Single crochet in the chain 1 space of the next V. Alright, we're just going to repeat this all the way around. Remember, we single crochet into the chain 1 on the next V, chain 2. 2 doubles into the space between the V's, chain 2, and do it again, starting with single crochet. Alright, we're going to do this all the way around until we get back here. Alright, I'll see you in a second. Alright, so I'm coming to the end of row 21, and I did my, excuse me, 2 double crochets here in between my last V-stitch and my first V-stitch. Here's where we started. I want to make sure that I chain 2 and then end by slip stitching into this first single crochet. Alright, that ends, you should, this ends row 21. And you should have 64 of these chain spaces all the way around. Alright, now we're going to do double crochet rows. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go back into this first single crochet, and then we're going to double crochet. And we're going to put 3 double crochets into the chain space. There's 1, 2, 3, and we're going to put 1 double crochet in each of these double crochets, each of these 2 double crochets, put 1 in each of them. So 1 in that one, and 1 in that one, and then 3 double crochets into the next chain space. 1, 2, 3, like that, and that's a repeat. So we're putting a double crochet into every single crochet, and we're putting 3 double crochets into every single chain space, and a double crochet in each of the double crochets. So we're just double crocheting all over the place. Make sure you put 3 in each of the chain spaces. Okay, I'm going to continue this all the way around. Seems like there's going to be a lot of double crochets here. Three here, 1, 2, 3, and start again. All right, I'm going to continue all the way around till we make it back here to our starting point. All right, so I've made it to the end of row 22, I do believe, and you should have a total. You need to have this number, 288 stitches. And then we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet. Now we're going to go around and do 1 double crochet in every stitch. This will be row 22 is what we're on now. So I'm just going to chain 1 to begin, and I'm going to go back into that stitch that I just slip stitched into, and I'm going to double crochet. And again, I'm just this time I'm just going to work around. I'm going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around. So we're not doing anything special, no increasing or anything. So that means by the time you make it to the end of round 22, you will still have 288 stitches. Remember, that's very important that we keep that number. All right, I will see you back at the starting line. All right, so that was row 23. I apologize if I said something different earlier, but yes, we just finished out row 23, still having 288 stitches. So I am going to repeat that row one more time, a row of 1 double crochet in every stitch, and this will be row 24. So I'm going to go ahead and start in the first stitch like always. Remember to keep that stitch count of 288, and I'm just going to repeat the row we just did, and after this row, row 25 will be the edging row. All right, 1 double in every stitch all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of row 24. All right, so I made it around after that row of double crochet, and remember that we need our 288 stitches. Now I'm going to do a border on it. All right, so I went and color controlled this, so I went to the last color of the cake. I'm just going to start where I left off. If you're not color controlling, just start where you left off. All right, so for the border, we're going to start off with the chain 1, and we're going to go back into the stitch that we just slip stitched into, and we're going to do a single crochet like that. And what we need to do is we need to do 5 single crochets in a row. Excuse me. So that would be number 1, and then we go to the next stitch, and that's number 2, next one, 3, next one, 4, and the next one is 5. So we've done 5 single crochets in a row. All right, so this is going to be starting our repeat here. 5 single crochets in a row, and then we are going to do a chain of 10. Okay, I just chained 8, I'm sorry. I was just thinking for a second, I'm sorry. Okay, chain 10. Now we're going to skip 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in the next one, after the 7th, we are going to single crochet like that. Yeah. And we're going to repeat that. So that single crochet there is the first of our 5 that we have to do in a row. So again, that would be 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then again we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, skip 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then in the next one, after the 7, we single crochet, and that is the first single crochet of our 5 that we have to do in a row. And this is what we're going to do all the way around. We're creating some chain spaces so we can do some shells. All right, so that's number 1. Gotta do 5 in a row again. 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 10, skip 7, and then the next one we single crochet, and that is the first of our 5. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this all the way around until I make it back to my starting point. I'll see you there in a second. All right, so we're coming to the end here. I believe this is row 25, first row of the edging. So I went all the way around and I just did 5 single crochets, and I have 7 stitches left because we need to skip 7. We got chain 10. Now to end this, we are going to just slip stitch right over here into our first single crochet. And you should have 24 chain 10 spaces. And that finishes off that round. All right. Now what we need to do is, okay, we have 5 single crochets here. We need to get to the middle one. So we need to slip stitch 2 more times and we'll be in the middle one. All right, so slip stitch over once and twice. So now we're in the middle stitch of the first 5. Now we're going to chain 1 and we're going to go back into that same middle stitch and we're going to single crochet. Like that. Now we are going to jump into the first chain space, and this is going to start the repeat of this row. All right, so we are going to work into this space, yarn over, and we're going to work a double crochet. Just go right through it and double crochet, chain 1, and we're going to do that double crochet, chain 1 7 times. So that would be number 1. Again, double crochet, chain 1, that's 2 times, double crochet, chain 1 3 times, double crochet, chain 1, that's 4 times, double crochet, chain 1, that's 5 times, double crochet, chain 1, that's 6 times, double crochet, chain 1, that was 7 times, and we're going to go ahead and end by putting 1 more double crochet here at the end. All right, now I'm going to pull that up just a minute. You might have to slide the double crochets down. So what you should have here is, now you should have 7 chain 1 spaces, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and a total of 8 double crochets. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. All right, and each one of these chain 10 spaces are work the same. Like I said, you might need to spread them out along your chain, but yep. like that. And then after you get that done, we are just going to, excuse me, single crochet in the middle stitch of this group of 5. So right here, single crochet, and that is the repeat. So now we jump over here to the next chain space, and we do the same thing that we just did over here. We're going to work a double crochet, chain 1 7 times. So that would be counting as number 1. Alright, that is 7 times we did that, and then you just put one more double crochet in there like that. And remember, you'll have 7 chain 1 spaces and 8 doubles. And then we just come over here and single crochet in the middle stitch of our group of 5. And we're going to repeat this all the way around until we get back to our starting point. And we'll still have our 24 these when we make it back around. Alright, so I've made it all the way around here, and I did my 8 doubles in with the chain spaces between them. And we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into the very first single crochet we made here, doubling that round. And now we're going to begin the final round of the edging and the final round of the entire piece. All right, so we're not going to chain 1 here. What we're going to do is we're only going to be working in the shells or whatever these are. So we're just going to jump over here to the first double crochet of this first shell. So jump on right over here and slip stitch into it. All right, now we can begin. Now every shell will be worked the same. All right, so we are going to chain 1, well, besides the chain 1. Okay, we're going to single crochet into this first double crochet. So we're going to do 3 single crochets, just 1 single crochet in the first double, and then we're going to do the next single crochet into the chain space, and then the third single crochet into the next double. And then after that, we should be a chain space should be next. So in this chain space, we're going to work 2 double crochets, just in the space, doubles. So there's 1 and 2. So we're going to repeat that, what we just did again. So we have to do 3 singles. The first one goes into the next double. The second one goes into the next chain space. And the third one goes into the next double. And that's the 3 singles there. And then we're going to, in the next chain space, we're going to work 2 double crochets into that chain space. So there's 1. There's 2. And then, we're going to repeat that again. So 3 singles. First one goes into the next double. The next one goes into the next chain space. And the third one goes into the next double. And then in the next chain space, we work 2 double crochets. So there's 1 and 2. And then we should have enough to finish out this shell by doing just the 3 single crochets. So we do a single crochet in the next double, single crochet into the next chain space, and single crochet right here into this last double crochet. And that is how we work the shells, and that's what it looks like. so the little double crochet areas just kind of pop up just a bit. All right, and then we're going to do that to every shell. So we're just going to jump over. So this single crochet down here from the previous row, we're just going to skip it. So we're just going to start by single crocheting into the first double of this and repeating what we just did. So we got to do 3 singles in a row. So that would be 1, and then the next one goes in the chain space, and the next one goes into the next double. And then in the next chain space, we work 2 doubles into that chain space. There's 1, 2, and then we repeat that again. So we got to do our 3 singles. First one into the next double. Next one into the next chain space. And last one into the next double. And then into the next chain space, 2 doubles. So there's 1, 2, again, single crochet into the next double, single crochet into the next chain space, single crochet into the next double, so that's 3 singles, and then in the next chain space, 2 double crochets. There's 1 and 2. And then we should have 3 spots left for our last 3 singles. That it goes into the double, the chain space, into the last double. So here's 1, and then in the chain space makes 2, and right here the last double makes 3. So there, we just finished out another one. That looks good. That looks nice. All right, and this one we're going to do all the way around until we make it back to our starting point. So remember, we do skip that single, and we just start where we start. We have to have 3 singles. Goes into this first double. The second single goes in the chain space. Third single into this double, and then in the next chain space we do the the 2 doubles, and then we repeat. All right, I'm going to keep doing this all the way around until I make it back over here to my starting point. All right, after you have made it back around, you just end with the slip stitch there in that first single crochet that you made, and you are finished. I like it a lot. I think it turned out really, really nice. And I hope that you enjoyed my tutorial. So please don't forget to, if you did, leave a like and a comment below. That always helps me out. And if you make this, I'd love to see a picture of it on my Bagoday Crochet Facebook page. If you can always show me there. There's a link to that below in the description box. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good day.